Yeah, all that hard living can catch up to you, and it did in a terrifying way for these 7 country stars. Car wrecks, shootings, an oil tank explosion, and that's just Trace Adkins. Wait till you hear what happened to the 6 others. Trace Adkins may be a cat because he seems to have 9 lives. All of this really happened. A bulldozer accident that nearly severed both of his legs, a 400-barrel oil tank explosion that crushed his left leg, 2 near-fatal car accidents, including one that cost him his nose, Dr. Soda back on, and that time his wife shot him. He was drinking, she said to quit, they fought, she tried to call mom, and he slapped the phone off the wall. So she grabbed a gun and hit him through both lungs and both heart ventricles. He admits some fault in that and didn't press charges. The couple would later divorce. Brantley Gilbert was admittedly drunk when he rolled his truck 5 times on Old 129 in Georgia. During one of those flips, he catapulted 15 feet into the air and landed on his feet before reportedly trying to roll his truck back onto its tires. He was just 19 and says if that crash hadn't happened, he wouldn't have started to take music seriously. Several years later, he'd quit drinking for good. Give this video a thumbs up if you're grateful for that.
I go out walking.
Before being killed in a plane crash in 1963, Patsy Cline cheated death twice. The legend beat rheumatic fever as a kid, once needing to be resuscitated when her heart stopped, and then she survived a gruesome car wreck in Madison, Tennessee in 1961. The crazy singer sustained facial and head injuries and was in critical condition for weeks. One person did die in the accident. When you meet John Pardi, you think, now there's a guy who likes to have fun, and it's true. He also got in a few fights when he was younger, like that time he was 18 and the guy pulled a knife and tried to slice him up like Bad Leroy Brown. There's a 7-inch scar across my stomach, Pardi says. To make things worse, they were way up in the California hills and had to drive to 3 different hospitals to get treatment. George Jones winked at death on a few occasions, but the Reaper loomed large on March 6, 1999 when the singer crashed his Lexus SUV head-on into a bridge on Highway 96 near Franklin, Tennessee. He was on his phone with his stepdaughter, messing with his cassette player when the midday accident happened. It took 2 hours to get him out of the car, and he suffered a collapsed lung, ruptured liver, and internal bleeding. After a few days in critical condition and nearly 2 weeks in the hospital, he walked out right as rain. Later, he'd admit he was drinking, but he vowed not to fall off the wagon again. A botched robbery resulted in the near death of Parmalee drummer Scott Thomas. It happened in 2010 after a show at The Money in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
That night, Scott got a second chance at life. We were victims of an attempted robbery in our RV outside that club that night. Gunfight in the RV, and Scott was shot 3 times.
2 men forced their way into the band's RV and demanded money. Shots were fired. 1 robber was killed and Thomas was left fighting for his life. It'd take months and months of rehab before he could play drums again, but the band, including brother and singer Matt Thomas, stuck with him. Hank's story is famous. He was climbing Ajax Peak in Montana when he fell 500 feet and landed on a boulder. The descriptions aren't pretty. Hank was missing his nose, an eye, and part of his skull when he was found. From then on, he wore a hat, beard, and dark sunglasses. Little known fact, Hank Jr. tried to kill himself just 6 months prior to that accident. Oh sure, there are more, but these are the 7 scariest brushes with death in country history. Be sure to subscribe to Taste of Country's YouTube channel and look for another Unforgettable Country Moments video every Tuesday.